So, ladies and gentlemen, this is All Three the Eagle, and today I'm going to be showing you some pictures from my Europe trip. I got back. I went on the 9th of July and came back the 18th, so I was gone 9 days. I went to Madrid, Barcelona, Spain, and um, Rome, Italy. Uh, but this is a picture of a bear sniffing a tree because apparently, from what the tour guide Casa Grande said, there used to be bears there. I went with my old AP history, U.S. history teacher, um, 4 other students, and one of the students' dad was the chaperone for a group. There was a group from Kansas, a group from Washington State, and a group from Missouri, and I met a lot of people there. The food overall was good. The plane trip wasn't too good though, and neither was the ferry, to be honest, but overall the trip was good. There was a lot of architecture and statues and other interesting things like fountains. Um, Most of the architecture and statues and stuff are going to reference like some biblical stuff, some old like Roman or like Greek gods and goddesses stuff. So if you do like feel offended by religion and stuff, then you can skip this video. But the culture over there is quite different. There was also a lot of graffiti in Madrid, apparently, of which I didn't have time to take pictures of because we were in the bus. This fountain depicts Apollo. This is outside a palace where the current king of Spain would stay if, let's say, a president of another country were to come over and want to chat or something. But the current king of Spain was not there when we went, but we got to look around in the palace. Also, some of the pictures will be blurry because I had to move a lot, and there was a lot of people. And also, if I click this too fast, then you can slow the video down to get a look at the pictures. That's the coat of arms and another statue. That's a statue of one of the kings. I don't know which one it was. And this is one of the main ceiling paintings that were in the palace. And all this is actual gold, apparently, from what the tour guide said. And there was one section of this palace, the cathedral area of the palace, where I tried to take a picture, but the security there quickly stopped me and said I couldn't take a picture. They were like, no, you can't take a picture. But the sculptures and stuff are actually pretty detailed. Surprisingly. This is the soccer stadium in Madrid. And in Madrid there was a lot of people on the streets selling Messi and other soccer player shirts. This is another fountain. This is the palace again. Those are some of the guards. That is the device, because most of the tours I went on here required us to wear these on our ears, and they would hook onto the ear, and it was not really comfortable, but it allowed us to hear the tour guide over like the sea of many people. This picture shows the current, or the royal family. This guy here is the current king. This is his father, the former king, the former queen, and these two are the sisters, I think. That's what they said. There's some more artwork. That's supposed to be an eagle, I think. There's also a lot of archways in the picture, and the way the people in Europe drive everywhere except Great Britain, apparently they drive very aggressively. Like, I'm not talking about like wanting to like run people over. I mean, like, they kind of like drive aggressively, if you know what I mean. This is the park we went to, where me and a few of the other people went rowboating. I was rowing majority of the time. That's a turtle and some ducks. This plaque here is the center of Madrid, Spain. That's some of the landscaping, and because Madrid is known for the bullfights, the billboards there, a lot of the billboards are shaped like bulls. Some windmills. This is one of the areas we stopped at. We took a tour of a church there, and we were not supposed to take pictures. I didn't take pictures because I actually followed the rules. However, some people in my group did not follow rules, and I saw many of them taking pictures, but what was I supposed to do? That is a statue of the globe, or the world, whatever. That's one of the main ruins of castles that were all across Madrid in Spain. That's another archway. I also tried taking pictures from the bus. Some of them turned out good. This one, not too much. This is Barcelona. We're overlooking Barcelona. This is a statue of Christopher Columbus, and that is a life preserver. It's supposed to be a symbol for refugees. These next few pictures are of like buildings and stuff that an artist did some designing on, where they took broken pieces of plates and glass to make really cool artwork. Like this. I don't remember the artist's name. But the artwork was really cool. Also, one of the museums in Madrid had the original Last Supper painting. And I did get to see it, and it was pretty cool, but I didn't know that was the original one until I heard that was. But yeah, the artwork was really cool. This is the famous church that's being renovated. It's actually a lot more detailed when you get a closer look. I didn't realize how detailed it was until I got closer and I saw all this detailing. But it's really cool, and I believe they said it wasn't going to be done until 2026. I think that's right, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, they did a lot of detail on this, so I was kind of amazed by this. Now this is near the beach of Barcelona, which somewhat I kind of wanted to forget for reasons. Because apparently European beaches are completely different from American beaches. But this, anyway, enough about the weird beaches over there. This piece here, not like, I couldn't get a good picture of it, because if I went to try to take a picture on the other side, it would have pretty much been blocked by another building. But this metal, or this weird looking structure here, I learned about it from my art teacher, Mr. Burgess, one year. And, like, I think it may have been, I'm going to say it's sophomore year that I learned about it. But, this is supposed to represent a fish, and I don't remember the artist who did it. This is Paella. Casa Grande took us to a restaurant. Casa Grande means big house. That was our tour guide's name. Elena Casa Grande. I feel like my brain's a bit fried still from this trip. Even though I took like a whole week to recover. But this is the seafood paella that I had. It was good except for I only got 2 mussels and this 1 shrimp. But it was really good. This and the other picture are from flamenco night. Flamenco is a type of dance that they do, and it involves them singing, playing instruments, clapping, stomping, and snapping to make some sort of dance or rhythm to it. But it was really interesting to watch. This was taken on our bike tour, the embarrassing bike tour that I went on. The only reason it was fun, but it was embarrassing for me because I am not balanced at all when it comes to riding bikes, apparently. So I had to ride a double bike with my teacher. So I got a few looks from a few people. But we couldn't take pictures on the bikes, otherwise the police would have fined us a huge amount. I believe they said it was like 200 euros, which I did not have there because I would spend it on certain days. But anyway, this was before we went biking. This is supposed to represent those towers of people that they do each year, which is really cool. That's another archway. The ferry was probably one of the parts of the trip that wasn't the best because it got delayed, and we got on at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then the breakfast was awful. The lunch and dinner was pretty good. Breakfast was just awful. It was like a piece of bread and crescent roll. But since the ferry was delayed, Casa Grande took us to see a fountain show, which was really cool. Also, if you do plan to go to Europe, be careful of pickpockets. So apparently they like large crowds. I didn't get pickpocketed though, so don't worry about it. But I'm just relaying some of the information I got from guides and stuff. Like, you want to at least keep your bag on your front so that they can't reach or grab your bag, which is what I did most of the time. But there's also a lot of people who beg on the streets over there, which got annoying, especially when we were eating and they would come up and beg. But this is the one of the remaining walls of Barcelona. This is the controls of the ferry, which was really cool to see. Casagrande got access to the bridge. This is some land in the horizon. The sunsets over in Europe were also pretty amazing to see. This is when we were going to the Colosseum. This is the Colossus or the Colosseum. And if you don't know that the chunks that are missing... Okay, no, I thought I skipped the picture. The chunks that are going... I'll get you another look in the next picture, are from people who would take crowbars or hammers or pickaxes and take chunks out of the Colosseum, which is why it was so like deteriorated. And it's like people are trying to preserve it and stuff now. But these, I believe, are gravestones of some sort. I'm not too sure about that. That's why I assumed they were, but I'm not too sure. This is like, I guess, it's not got the names. I'm assuming to honor people who died in the arenas. But yeah, here's the chunks that people took out of the Colosseum. These are some of the original tops of the pillars. But the Colosseum was huge, and these are some of the original seats that people sat on back in the days when they came to watch the gladiators fight. But yeah, the Colosseum was huge, and this area where you see the two lights here, that's what the tour guide said was the place where the emperors would sit to get a front row seat of the fights. And the tour guide also said not to touch some of the areas where the holes are, because it's not stable and it could come loose and stuff. So, but there was a pigeon in one of the holes. Actually, there was two holes where there were two pigeons in. These are the stairways that people would go down the stairs to the seats and stuff. This is one from part of the top areas or top levels of the Colosseum, which this was pretty cool to see. These pillars are apparently being held up so they don't topple over. But this is some ancient text along with someone discussing graffiti. But also over there, we were warned not to drink some of the water, especially some of the water that the people were like selling, like the beggars and stuff. because apparently they knew that it was not legal activity and they would hide its places that I don't want to think where those water bottles were hidden. Some of it looked like they just bought things and to sell. There is, I believe these are again column pieces and my lovely finger. I don't really know what this is. I think it was some sort of access way. But the rest of these are probably going to be some ruins around the Colosseum, including archways. That's depicting one of the emperors getting carried off by an eagle up to heaven to be like a god or something, according to what my tour guide said. But these are all ruins, and actually in one of the pictures, this was probably one of the most prettiest shots I've seen besides the sunset pictures, but it was a really good shot of what I assume is a bridge and some flowers. But these two guys are some of the archaeologists who are trying to help restore the area. Here's some more ruined pieces. There's a bridge, I believe. This, I believe, is a bank or a church of some sort, and these are the actual doors from the time period. According to the guide, I believe it's a church. Then again, I'm not too sure. But the people over there do have, like in Spain and Italy, they do somewhat know a little bit of English. Like, I wouldn't say they speak it fluently, but like English is kind of like a second language over there. This is where people came to pay respects to Julius Caesar and throw coins and flowers. This is one of the fountains. It's not the famous fountain that people would throw the coins in. This is the Pantheon, not the Parthenon. And the Parthenon's in Greece, in case anybody gets confused between the Pantheon and the Parthenon. The Parthenon's the one with the statue of Athena, but this is the Pantheon. This is actually a hole in the ceiling, which was really cool to look up and also feel the rain kind of drop down. But Raphael, the artist Raphael, was actually laid to rest there. I think his coffin was there. This is some of the pizza we had for lunch on one of the days. This is the famous fountain depicting Neptune. The other fountain from before also showed Neptune. But this is where people would throw coins in. I believe this is outside the Vatican. Oh, no, wait, no. It's, I think it's the embassy area. Yeah, embassies of different countries. Which, that area was actually really heavily guarded by both police and troops. This is the Spanish Steps in Italy. Why it's called that, I don't know. This is the top of the steps, and there were a lot of steps, so I was pretty much worn out from it. This is outside the Vatican City. That's St. Peter's church. Is it cathedral or church? I don't know. Some artwork. Now, there were certain areas of the Vatican that I could take pictures of the artwork, but then when it came to the Sistine Chapel, which was painted by Michelangelo, I could not take pictures of that because the police or the security there would possibly confiscated my phone, and they would possibly delete the pictures. Or the tour guide would probably get me kicked out because of it, so... but here's some of the artwork. And some of it is, again, blurry because a lot of people visit these areas and it's hard to take pictures and not be in people's way. So at one point I just stopped taking pictures because it was pretty much futile, or however you pronounce it, to try even take pictures. Because I didn't want to be in people's way or have people bump into me. Because to be honest, I didn't really trust any people, even if they were at the Vatican visiting. Like, I didn't want any of them to actually be like pickpockets and bump into me, which some pickpockets I heard did. I didn't hear of any pickpocket experiences while I was there, but apparently they love bumping into people and then snatching things out of their pockets. But this is the only evidence I have of me going to the Sistine Chapel to see the painting by Michelangelo, which that was pretty amazing to see. Like, if I could have, I would have probably stayed there for like a long time staring up at the ceiling. But I couldn't because we had to keep moving a bit. The next few pictures are statues of saints. This is the Vatican Square where the Pope mobile would have driven through. The Pope was in his office, but we could not see him, unfortunately. But this is the original statue of Mary holding Jesus, which is behind protective glass, because apparently there was an incident where someone chiseled off, or did they chisel it off, or I believe they chiseled or hammered it off, the nose and feet. This is the door that the Pope opens at Jubilee, which is a holy thing. I don't know what goes on at Jubilee. But, yeah, there was a lot of different art pieces here that or of like saints and popes and biblical stuff. I believe that's, let me look it up. I believe it's John Paul II. I don't know. I believe it's Pope John Paul II. That's his place where he's at rest. This arch here, the structure is, hold on, I guess need, okay, never mind. Okay, I think I'm good. This archway is supposed to be where Peter was crucified upside down and buried. This marks where he was crucified and buried. This is one of the popes who was preserved there. There's at least 2 popes that they showed that were preserved. The rest of the popes that are deceased or passed away are buried under this thing. This statue depicts Moses, Jesus, I believe it's Peter, and I don't know who exactly that is. The only 3 I kind of recognized are these 3. I'm assuming that's Peter. I know that's Jesus and that's Moses. That's another pope that's preserved. That is, I try to get a good shot of this. This is the Pantheon sky hole. I wouldn't say it's a skylight or sky window. It wasn't bright for some reason due to the angle I was at, but it was still a pretty shot of the clouds. I don't know exactly that is. I actually don't remember taking a picture of this. I know it was in the Pantheon. That's all I pretty much remember. That I believe is a staff or a scepter of some sort, and I don't know what this is. This is the sunset on the last day, which is actually the emotional day for a lot of us, because we were all kind of sad that we were about to leave and say goodbye to all the new people we met on this trip. I met a lot of good people there, and who are pretty much good friends of mine. You know? Everyone was pretty much nice. But on the bus ride back, we said what we liked about the trip. A few people did. Then Casa Grande played some music on her phone, and me, Jenny, Sammy, and Jack, and a few other people sung to a few songs, including, I believe, Free Falling and Tiny Dancer, and a few other good songs. But I hope y'all enjoyed seeing these pictures from my trip, and if you are offered the opportunity to travel to a place by your school, you should definitely take the opportunity. Even though it's expensive, it's definitely worth it. And make sure if you do, be safe. and I am glad to be back, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!